Something happened the other day that scared the crap out of me. So we weren't home at the time, but as you do these days, we have a couple of security cameras on the property to keep an eye on things when we're not around. And middle of the morning, 11 a.m., a giant bear walked across our front yard. Destroyed a bird feeder, then walked around the backyard and checked out those bird feeders. There's nothing in them, and continued walking out of the frame. The backyard bird feeders are about 300 feet from the beehives. So, you know, you get an alert on your phone and you can see the image right there, but you can't do anything about it because you're not home. So I don't know if the bear went the other direction. I don't know. It could have gone anywhere. I don't know if it came up here, sniffed around. I don't know if it touched the fence, the electric fence, and got scared off. But anyway, I rushed home and everything was fine. Bees are fine. The bear went one way and I don't know, hasn't been back. But it did make me rethink the security and strength of our defense up here for the bees. So let me show you what I mean. So the way this wire works is it's not really strong wire, but it's got an electric pulse going through it. So if a bear touches this, it's going to get a shock and theoretically be scared and take off. However, it is very thin wire and it could very easily be just sort of swatted by a 400-pound bear and these wires would snap. It would get a shock, but it could break the wires and walk right in here. So what I'm going to try and do here is reinforce this fence with high tensile wire. I'm going to use the wire that I used on the grape vineyard, and I'm going to reinforce the corners so that those things are really solid. And there's going to be strong wires just inside the electric wires. The strength wires are not going to be electrified, but these will remain electrified. They'll be on the outside, and then just inside here we're going to have high strength, high tensile steel wire that a bear cannot break. For the corners of the posts, I'm going to be using these ground anchors. These are called FENOX ground anchors, and they're straight galvanized steel. So these are made for rocky soil, and that's what we have here. These get hammered straight into the ground, and inside this pipe there are spikes that go the length of the pipe. After you hammer this into the ground, you then put this tool into the pipe, and then you pound on this, which then sends these spikes into the ground, and they get shot out into the ground like this every which way, and they tangle around rocks and debris and stuff in the ground. So it's a straight line, but then at the end there's this like grappling hook tangle of wires that shoots out, and that keeps this thing, it's just impossible to get this out after you pound it in the ground. There's sort of a system to this. You need to put this down, putting this in line with where I want my wire. This is your hook that your wires are going to go through up to the post. Make sure you get this on before you hammer it down. That. Then your driver goes in. And this is going to send all those little anchors out into the soil. And this is what you're left with here. It's an anchor in the ground that goes in about 15 inches, and then those spikes are all below that. And then this is where you are going to anchor your wires that go up to the post. Really simple system. This is the same anchors we use to hold all of our trellis wires. So there's one of these anchors at the base of every one of these posts, holding those wires in place. If you're ever dealing with wire of any kind, get yourself a Lazy Susan, something that spins, put your wire on a spool, and it is carefree. Wire just spools right out. All right, the other key part of this fencing equation is the Gripple, an amazing little tool. So there's two main kinds of Gripples. We got your medium or your large Gripple, and we got your number 1 Gripple. This is for terminating a wire on like one side, the outside of a post or something. And this is a 2-way Gripple for either joining 2 wires or wrapping a wire through around something and going back into itself. 2-way Gripple, 1-way Gripple. So you got your Gripples, you got your wire, and you're going to need your Gripple tool. So it costs about 70 bucks, but if you're putting up a fence, this will save you hours of time. Amazing tool. You want to make a bend in your wire and hook it through your hooks like that. Okay, so you get your 2 ends of your wire. So one wire goes through this way, and then one wire is going to go through this way. So once you have everything sort of hand tight, get your tool. You open the tool and it opens this cam. You're going to hook your tail in here, and then this pushes the Gripple up the wire. And as it pushes it, tightens up. Okay, now I'm going to do my fence wires. So this is the Gripple GP1. This is the end stop. Just put it right on. So now we got a row of 4 high tensile steel wires, and then on the outside we have 5 aluminum electrified wires. And there's a gap in between. So if a bear does decide to tear through the electric wires, which he will get shocked, but if he does, he still has to go through the high tensile steel wires, which would be kind of a pain in his big bear butt. All right, so I got the corners braced in 2 directions. So these corners now are really, really solid. So they're not gonna really go anywhere. These are not electric, but these wires are electrified. We got really lucky the other day that the bear did not find its way up here. Although it may very well have found its way up here and gotten shocked and taken off. So if so, that worked. If it does get up here again, it's going to get shocked before it gets to the steel wire, and the steel wire might prevent it from just strolling in there. Not much you can do about a bear who really wants to get in and destroy some beehives, but I feel a lot better about this than I did yesterday. go.